Welcome to Roll Call, the many roles that we all play, a new series of conversations by Watsi about stories of care, courage, and connection. At Watsi, while we love to leverage technology, we believe healthcare is human. Join us in celebrating the many roles that we all play in bringing healthcare within reach for everyone.
Hi, Rina. I'm Crisyl or Shabia, and I'm calling in from the Philippines. I am currently the program coordinator of World Surgical Foundation Philippines. WATSI and WSFP has been partners since I think 2020, and I, on the other hand, have been working with World Surgical Foundation Philippines since 2023. So I have been working with the medical social workers of Our Lady of Peace Hospital for the submission of patient profiles through the WATSI Partners website. I'm not a nurse, I'm also not a caregiver, um, but I mostly handle the patient profiles and I'm also handling the donations from WATSI and I make sure that the patient's bills are all covered and are paid on time.
Ooh, that's a big job. That is not easy to do, I'm sure. What drew you to this job? What inspired you to work in this space?
Well, ever since I was a child, I've always wanted to be a nurse. However, I grew up like scared of blood. But mostly, my main reason why I wanted to be a nurse, or there was even a time where I wanted to be a doctor. But the main reason was just I really wanted to be able to help other people. So now I might not be able to achieve that. I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, but at least I'm still happy and very fulfilled that in my own way I'm still helping other people. Um, Also, I was very sheltered when I was in preschool, elementary, and high school. But when I was in college, I was, I guess, exposed to the realities, especially here in the Philippines, which is a third world country. Um, then it ignited a spark in me. I guess I wanted to help, and I wanted it to be my life mission. I want to be the change the world needs. I was still in college, so I was very idealistic.
Yes.
When I graduated, even if it wasn't aligned with my course was about media and communications. I really looked for jobs where I can use my skills to help other people. Since then, since I graduated college, I have been working in the development sector, and until now, I'm still in the development sector.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And, I will say I'm a nurse myself, but what I'm hearing is a lot of the essence of what we do. You're able to embody that. You may not necessarily have the title, but that's okay. It sounds like you have the heart of, a nurse, a heart of a doctor, a heart of somebody who is willing to give back and give to others. And that's really beautiful. And it sounds like you're dedicating your life to do this. And I think that's very important. We need people like you in the world to help as well, because you're also the other side of it. Some of the stuff we can't do. And so we really appreciate you being able to work in that area. And tell me more, if it's okay with you, about you were telling me about the how it is in the Philippines, and that's sort of what inspires you to do this work. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, yeah. Growing up, I have been a scholar ever since I was in preschool. Uh, my mother did not pay any tuition ever since preschool and until college. So um, I am used to um, people helping us, right?
Got you.
I
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So and then when I was in college, I studied at the University of the Philippines, and we had no tuition or subsidized tuition. But then our economic status gives me the right to or privilege to not pay any tuition at all. So And then when I was there, I saw other students who are very privileged to just study because they won't have to um, think about um, think about their allowances and all that. So that was the spark that ignited the spark in me. That's where I wanted to um I wanted to like see more students. Like that was my initial thought. I wanted to see more students who won't have to do studying and do jobs at the same time. So
Hmm.
my first work was I was a scholarship coordinator, something like that. So that's when I really wanted to give back because again, all my life I have been a scholar, like something like
Yeah.
that.
So it sounds like, creating access for people is really important to you. And
Yeah.
you understand what it's like to have to balance multiple things just while you're going to school, just to go to school.
Mm,
And so you're, really wanting to make sure people are able to focus on school and give them access and not have to worry about some of the financial burden. And you really have carried that to your job, which is really amazing. And you're
yeah.
giving, yeah, you're helping that community of people achieve the access to care and achieve access to life-changing surgeries, which is really an amazing thing to do. And you work with patients and you work with hospital staff. How are you able to balance all of that? There's a lot of emotions involved, and then there's logistics, and then there's financial parts. Like, how are you able to balance all of those things?
Actually, don't know. Just kidding.
You're just
Um,
superwoman. That's all it is. It comes very naturally. So,
uh, so dealing with a lot of different types of people. Of course, you have the patients. Again, you mentioned I also deal with the hospital staff and the foundation side of it. Like we deal with the stakeholders, especially and partners like Watsi. I think I have to wear like different shoes for each type because um, I would say I'm an empathetic person. Um, so it is important to me to be able to put my shoes into who I am talking to. Like for example,
mm,
with the patient. For example, with the patient. So I use a different vocabulary with them, and when I'm talking to our partners, I use different vocabulary with them also. So things like that. And also, I think every day, no, I'd say I am focusing, like, for example, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I usually schedule my day-to-day activities like that. From 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., I would focus more on on stakeholder relationship. And
mm.
then I take a 15-minute break. And then I put another hat on. And then from 10:15 to 12:15, for example, I do patient interviews or I translate or I make packages or stories from patient interviews. So something like that. So I do that from on a day-to-day basis.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you are playing a number of different roles. You're wearing a number of different hats as the day goes
Yeah.
on, and you're very organized, which is incredibly important as well. I'm sure the day can go pretty quickly, and there's a bunch of different things that you're doing.
Mhm.
Can you tell me more about preparing the patient profiles and what is that process like for you?
Okay, so for the patient profiles, we have a set interview questions that we give to the medical social workers. And they record it, and then I listen to those. Sometimes I get to listen to the patient interviews, like personally. But oftentimes the medical social workers, they do the interview. So from the set interview questions, I get to listen to the patient um, answers, and then I get to package um, their story or their recording to some I have to I think emphasize this, no. Um I make sure that the patient story is not just something like um that the readers will buy because um they are hopeless or they
Hmm.
are desperate of the donation or the money. I make sure that the patient or patient family is very dignified even though they need help.
That is so important. I feel like that one really in my
Yeah.
heart. I'm so grateful that, you keep that as a focus, because I'm sure it can be challenging for both the patient, but then also for you to make sure that their story is elevated or is told in a way that is honest and still gives people the dignity of, they deserve the surgery, they deserve that access. And that's so, so important. And my hats go off to you because that's incredible. Have you had a patient story that's really touched your heart or something that you've really been inspired by?
I I love children patients. Um, Children patients and their families are always memorable to me. So, in my line of work, I have met and interviewed a lot of patients and family members. So, I remember meeting a patient who had Hirschsprung's disease, ADHD or attention deficit or and hyperactivity disorder, and the hearing disorder, which directly affects his speech. He was 3 years old when I met him, so it was a lot for a 3 year old, and of course for his mom who's raising him alone. His father was an overseas Filipino worker, so his mom is all he had, and
Hmm.
she was taking care of him alone. When they had the surgery, she was very happy that his son was able to avail of the free surgery, and since it will significantly lessen their financial burden, of course, and it will lessen his son's conditions, which is very important to her.
Wow. Yeah, there's so many different dynamics going on, so many different things that you have to balance there. And it sounds like you were really able to help these individuals, and from there, you're really helping their community too, which is amazing. Um,
Yeah, I guess I just would like to add that my work is not as flashy or as direct as the work of a donor, a sponsor, a volunteer doctor, or a nurse, or the medical social workers. But I guess listening to their stories and packaging it in a way that would still dignify them, I know the work that I do would significantly impact their lives. So it's not often that my work is recognized, but when it is, I really always appreciate it. So
Yeah,
thank
that's
you.
good. Absolutely. That is the point. Like I think that sometimes we forget how many things are working in the background to hold us all up. And you're one of those pillars that holds all of us up. You're the one processing, you're the one talking to the patients, you're the one doing all of that important work in the background that you're right, doesn't always get seen. And we kind of see the end result. So we're really appreciative of you doing what you do and also being here with us today and to tell us what you do and to also represent all of the folks doing the similar job that you do, which is incredibly important. And it kind of really makes this process flow, right? Like you're helping people move along in so many ways. So definitely, and thank you for sharing that and saying that because it's an important thing to say. Yes, I'm going to take a sip of my tea also because
Yeah,
I know. What are you drinking in your cup there?
coffee. It's
Nice.
already
I
8:30 p.m. here, so I have to have my coffee.
to keep you awake, to keep you going.
Yes,
I get
correct.
that. I get that. I'm starting with tea, with green tea, but I am definitely going to move on to coffee at some point today too. That's so funny. Speaking of that, I mean, coffee and what keeps you going, what are things that, help you reset after a really heavy day or, help you find some joy on a day that might be a little bit, emotionally challenging?
Uh, I guess I learned this the hard way, no, na I learned this the hard way too. In our profession, it is important to take care of ourselves as well, and we matter just as much as the people that we help. Um, in this profession where we mostly just give, it is also important to take care of our own needs. So in my case, I really set boundaries and not feel guilty about it. It took time for me to not feel guilty about it, but after some time, I learned not to feel guilty about taking rest, especially in
Mm-hmm.
our profession. So I also make sure that I talk to family and friends, especially when I have to vent out. Um, and having someone who understands the nature of our work is also very important. So you always have to have that support group, I think. And lastly, I make sure that I have time to rest. But on a day-to-day basis, my go-to my go-to rest is really going to the gym.
Nice. Oh, so rest. I see.
Rest.
Well, I mean, does it help you move that energy into something, like running or lifting weights, or it kind of helps you move your body to kind of get rid of those extra emotions and just focus on doing something good for your body?
Yes, it's like my debriefing session after a
I
long
love
day of
it.
work.
Totally. That's amazing. I mean, you truly are giving back to yourself and your body. So I think that's really awesome. Is there anything that you enjoy doing for fun too with your family and friends?
Uh, I guess during weekends, I I allot time to go out with my family and friends, and it really also energizes me.
Yeah, that's great. No, I think that's so important. And you mentioned boundaries too, and I think that the boundaries
Mhm.
piece is so good. It's very challenging. I totally hear you. When I started as a nurse practitioner on an orthopedic surgery unit, I would stay till 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and my shift was done at around 5. And,
Mhm.
one of the surgical fellows told me, we all appreciate what you're doing, but the work will never end. You'll just keep doing
Yeah.
it and you'll be here till tomorrow. So we want you to last. So it's important for you to give yourself some rest, wait for the next
Mhm.
day, organize yourself, and kind of make that something you do every single day. So it really,
Mhm.
what you said really related to me for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember. If you can just let me share, no.
Oh,
I
please.
remember when I started working in the development sector, I almost always felt burnt out. Um, I
Mm,
didn't feel that I matter. I was always so tired. I always felt like crying. I felt like I always give my everything to other people, and it's not fulfilling to me anymore. Um, and that I have nothing left to myself.
yeah.
Yeah, and then I shared this also to one of my mentors, like yours. He's actually my boss now, and she talked to me about how important it is to also take care of ourselves, especially
Hmm.
in our line of work. So I learned this the hard way, but we really matter just as much as the people we want to help.
It's so true. Oh gosh, what you said just made me feel chills because it's such a hard thing, I think, for us to remember, working in healthcare is that we
Yeah.
matter as well. We're going in it to care for others, and you kind of give every inch of yourself, and then you do get burnt out. You do feel like, man. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I'm built for this anymore. And it's
Yeah.
nice to have, mentors and bosses and people around us that support us and say, hey, I care for you, and now it's time for you to care for yourself in order to survive, really, and last in a field like
Correct.
this. So, yeah, I totally hear that. And it's never a straight road. It's always a little bit of a windy road to get to where you're going, and you kind of have to learn the hard way sometimes, whether you like it or not. What's it been like working with Watsi's platform and system and their team?
So they're very very supportive, and I'm really grateful. I'm part of this community. Being part of what this community is rewarding and fulfilling. In my case, I get to see the patients and I get to hear their stories of desperation and hopelessness prior to surgery. But after their treatment, I get to look at their somehow pained but relieved and grateful faces. So I also get to listen to their stories of hope and gratitude. And it really is worth sharing every time to the Watsi community. The staff are very appreciative and they're very easy to work with. Um, so again, as mentioned, the Watsi community and its staff has been very supportive, and no matter what, and I guess no matter where I'll be in the future, I will always be grateful that I am and I was part of the Watsi community.
I love that. Thank you. And what would you like donors and supporters to know about the patients behind the profiles that you submit?
Well, they are not just our patients. No, they are mothers, they're fathers, they are children, uh, and they really matter. They are not just people who need our help. They are people who work for their families. They are people who study, who have their own dreams of becoming better someday. So I guess that's what I really wanted to like show um, behind each patient profile.
I love that. Thank you. You're so right. They're more than just a patient that we kind of just say that and we expect that's one thing, but you're right. They're mothers, their daughters, their wives, their caregivers, their people in their
Right.
community that function. So that's so, so important. And that's the same for you. You're, working in this area, you're wearing different hats. So you're putting profiles together, you're also coordinating. You're a sister, you're a friend. So thank you again. We really, really appreciate